Welcome everyone to episode 90 of Raw Sport. We're back as we do every single Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern with the man himself, Mr. Rick Glaser. Rick, how are you, buddy? How's things?
It's another Monday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time with you, and for a quick half hour. And let's talk about the biggest topic in all of boxing right now, the controversial ninth round between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, would ended in a majority draw.
We have not had the chance to take a breath since Saturday night. The boxing world has not stopped talking about this fight, especially that ninth round. Now, as we do, most of the time we go to your reliable tweets on Twitter. There was a tweet that you made on Twitter, went absolutely viral. Most of the internet was talking about it. Let me just quickly bring it up and let our viewers see what we saw. Oh my God, Lamont Roach got robbed 3 times tonight. That was a knockdown that wasn't called. The corner work on Tank during the round. He's supposed to be automatically disqualified. And Roach won that fight. Horrible decision to call it a majority draw. Lamont Roach robbed 3 times in one night. Rick, most would say that you're just being a hater, right? But how do you justify all 3 points based on what?
Well, let's start with the referee. Let's start with the first. Let's start with the knockdown. That's where it all started.
Yeah.
He was hit right on the eye. He had a delayed reaction. And the reason why he probably had a delayed reaction was because it did hurt him on the eye, but he's got steady legs. He's got real good balance. So it was about a second and a half before he went down. He went down. The referee starts counting. As soon as he started counting, he jumps up, goes to his corner, and the corner starts wiping his face down.
Wow.
Okay? Okay. In the meantime, first of all, let's go to the knockdown. There was no question it was a knockdown. It was hit right on the eye. The referee started counting. The moment the referee started counting, whether he got up and ran, it didn't matter what Tank did right then and there. It was a knockdown. He never, when Tank ran to this corner, he stopped the count because he was startled. He didn't. What the hell's going on here? As soon as that corner touched him, that was a DQ. That should have been ruled a DQ.
Yeah.
Now he comes back into the ring, and the referee looks at him straight in the eye, right in front of him, and says, "I should have called that a knockdown," like he was doing Take a favor. Okay,
Jeez.
that was a knockdown. Okay, whether he continued the count or not is secondary. He started the count. He got the 2, and Tank jumped up and ran to the corner. Then he should have been disqualified when the trainer touched him with the towel. It was over. Okay, now the third mistake was he should have went to the corner after the round was over and said that was a knockdown, deduct the point. He never did. You can't. Everything that referee Steve Willis did in the ninth round was a colossal fuck up.
Why is that, you reckon? Do you think he succumbed to the pressure?
You know what? Maybe pressure, the star fighter, the stardom of the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know the man personally to make a comment. I know he's a good veteran referee. Until the other night, I didn't have a bad opinion, but he did have a screw up one time in Montreal, a bad screw up years ago. I remember about 8, 9, 10 years ago, he had a bad screw up in a WBA fight up there, and I think a super middleweight world title fight. So I'm not saying he's prone to screw ups, but he definitely screwed up multiple times in one singular round.
Let's look at it from his perspective. You got one of the biggest stars in boxing. You got all the pop stars and there's A-class celebrities there watching, and he has to call off a fight. So he probably thought about it and go, "Wow, I can't do this. The occasion's too big."
Well, he didn't even call it a knockdown. Forget
let's
about
look
the
at.
DQ. He didn't even call it a knockdown. He called it a knockdown. Then he stopped. And then he should have went when the round was over. He should have went back to the corner and said that was a knockdown. Take a point away. He
Absolutely.
never did that either. He
No,
didn't
we
do
didn't.
anything.
He just buckled. He really did. All right, let's get the weigh in from the New York State Athletic Commission. Our friends at Boxing Scene reported the following. The New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing the matter involving Saturday's matchup between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. During the round in question, following the commission's request for the replay video, there was a technical issue preventing the commission from receiving it within the allotted time to review. New York State Athletic Commission, that's a bunch of jargon, surely. Come on, Rick.
No, that actually happened. That happened.
Wow.
That was that bullshit. That happened.
So, one of the biggest moments of the year so far in boxing, ref blanks out, the system blanks out. He's got a lot going for him, this young man, Tank.
Well, let's put it this way to you. I believe at this point, let's talk about today. Let's not talk about Saturday night right now. Let's talk about today. I believe the commission is going to start an inquiry into the 9th round.
You do?
They'd have to. They'd have to. How could you not? How many fuck-ups can one referee make in one round? In hockey, if you scored 3 goals in a game, that's a hat trick. This was a hat trick in one round.
There's talks as well that came in through a few hours ago, actually, that NY and the New York State Athletic Commission to overturn the decision. I'll just bring up a tweet from a media outlet, according to Boxing. There's reports in the New York State Athletic Commission to overturn the Tank vs. Roach decision. According to Lamont Roach, Tank Davis is rumored to have taken his first loss, as the NYSAC could possibly do the right thing in overturning the draw result. Their reputation is on the line, so Roach may become a two-time two-division champion by the end of the week. Did you hear anything about this, Rick?
I did not hear anything about that, but let me just explain to everybody. You can't overturn the decision, okay? But you can just based because you thought the judges made a bad call. That you can't do. But if they say that was a knockdown, they rule that as a knockdown. That's 1 point on there's 3 scorecards. That turns the fight over to Lamont Roach as a winner by what I would believe would be a split decision if it's 1 point. Now, if he already had won that round, I don't know if he won or lost the 9th round to score. If he did win that round, it's 1 more point. If he didn't win that round, then it's like a 2-point reversal. But if you take the 1 point, no matter what, he wins that fight. So that they can do. Okay, because that's not a judgment call. The referee did not make a judgment call. He made the call as a knockdown. Then he never picked up the count once he got to 2 because Tank ran across the ring. It's still a knockdown. He started the count.
He did, absolutely, and he should have finished. Let's get the thoughts of the sanctioning body, the WBA, on the night. He's also another tweet from Everything Boxing, reported by Ring Magazine. WBA likely to order Tank rematch. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza is poised to order an immediate rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, following the hugely controversial moment in round 9. His comments were, I think it's not going to be no doubt about having a rematch on this. It was a very controversial night. So we have the State Athletic Commission weighing in. We have the sanctioning body weighing in. Tank also earlier today tweeted that he wanted the immediate rematch. I mean, it's bound to happen. Some are saying so. Some are saying no. What are your thoughts?
I believe that's great. I think the WBA should order a rematch. I think the New York State Athletic Department should look into an inquiry into the 9th round. Forget about the other 11 rounds. It didn't matter. Everything, all the bad doings by the ref were all in the 11th round. All 3 of them.
Wow, disastrous, really. Other than that, actually, the night was quite a success. We had some huge numbers that broke records. According to Dan Raphael, per Barclays Tank-Roach, set the all-time attendance record in the arena's history at 19,250 and the second highest grossing event of all time at the arena. You said it on the show last week, people come out to watch Tank in person. Now it's going to remain unknown until the actual pay-per-view numbers come out, whether they pay to actually watch him. There was a crazy crowd there. The event was insane. Everyone's talking about the fight. I think Tank's definitely a star. He's a draw.
No, there's no question about Tank's a star. That's why we had a problem the other night, because he is a star. Whether the referee did it purposely, incompetence, got nervous, I don't know. All I know is that Lamont Roach and everybody deserved better than that they received.
Rick, what do you say?
The fans were booing. The fans were booing.
They were, absolutely, and he got defensive. What do you say to people who say to you or to everybody commentating or criticizing this result? I thought this fight was a mismatch. No, I thought nobody was interested in this fight before all this controversy happened.
I don't understand the question.
So a lot of the Tank Davis faithful, his loyal supporters, are criticizing those that said before the fight, this is a mismatch. Nobody's interested in this fight.
Well, listen, a lot of fights that Tank fights are outbet fights. This was a 20-1 underdog fight. Whether the fighter stood up is a second issue. He stood up and fought back, and that Tank didn't know what to do at times. Tank looked lost in there at times. Not even throwing power, just like throwing like gauging punches, like trying to measure the guy. He didn't have any clue half the time.
What do you think was? Let's talk about the actual fight itself from an analytical perspective. What do you think was the difference in the fight? What stunned Tank?
Definitely, what I believe is the fast, nimble. I'm sorry, the footwork of Lamont Roach, the hand speed of Lamont Roach, and the ring IQ of Lamont Roach, and he stood up to Tank. I think Lamont Roach is better at 135 than he is at 30 because he's stronger and he's not zapped. So he's got more energy to do things.
One thing that came to my attention while watching the fight, Tank would throw big shots. Roach would roll and counter with the right hand, and Tank would be there because he thought those shots were going to take him out or damage him. That counter right hand was landing all night, and he kept shocking Tank time after time after time. So it was a key weapon for Roach during the fight. That's what I personally believe. The other thing was he looked distracted. He came out in the last round. He thought it was the 8th round. Now I don't know if that's a put on or not, but did you hear the same thing while watching on the broadcast?
I didn't hear anything about the 8th round. They thought it was the 8th round. I must have missed that. But you know what? Whether he was distracted or not, he's a professional fighter. That bastard only fights twice a year. Yeah, I mean, how much it's not like he's fighting every month or every 6 weeks or something. The guy's literally fighting twice a year. How can you get distracted? That's no excuse.
Did the camps know too much about one another? Because Barry Hunter said in the post-fight press conference that the camps are very, very close. So they know each other very well.
Well, they're from the same area. They're from the they call it the DMV, the District of Washington, Maryland, and Virginia, the DMV area, the Baltimore, Washington area. And guess what? They may be, and I don't question that because I happen to know that they are. So they're right. But you know what? You got to prepare. If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to lose. That's what it is. You prepare to fail. If you don't prepare to fail, you fail. You fail. That's all there is to it. And
Barry Hunter was going on about in the post-fight press conference. Calvin Ford was missing from this fight camp, and during the fight in the corner, I don't know if you noticed. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. He was wiping Tank's face, and Tank just started yelling at him like crazy.
There's some hard feelings there. I don't know what they
There
are.
has to be, because that
Yeah.
interaction was not
Yeah,
normal.
I mean, listen. Tank's a little dysfunctional. I'm sure Calvin Ford's no better. I mean, it's like the game that couldn't shoot straight.
There you go. Oh, he's had enough. He's just walked off.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. My knee was cramping
That's
up.
a
My back and my
that's
leg.
a mic drop moment. You just make your statement and just walk off. All right, we'll keep going. During the fight, Turkey Al Sheikh made some interesting tweets. I'll just bring them up quickly. If you charge people $80 for pay-per-view, you must give them a good card with good production. I mean, the last two fights of the night were good fights. Gary Antoine Russell surprised a lot of people with his performance against Robert Garcia's boy. And then the main event was filled with controversy. Before that, but in terms of production, I personally like the PVC production a lot. Your thoughts?
I think it's very average, to be honest
Why is
with you.
that?
I think it just is an average production. The announcers yell and scream. They're not. It's not a good production. Bad camera work. A lot of times they're lost. Not a good production overall.
All right, we'll keep going. Massive announcement actually today. The Turkey Al Sheikh put up on his Twitter, which I'll bring up on screen as well. Jim Lampley likely to join. Well, is going to join Turkey Al Sheikh's crew. I think we can call him now. Honored to meet the legendary Jim Lampley today. We've joined forces to bring some thrilling surprise that will excite boxing fans around the world. This announcement comes ahead of the big press conference tomorrow in Times Square, New York. Massive fight card, which is the Fatal Fury Times Square fight card. You got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo all fighting. Is Jim a good addition?
I like to think he is. He hasn't announced this as a ring announcer in 7 years since HBO went off the air in 2018. It's 7 years later. I mean, he's in his 70s. This guy could be yesterday's news and shot. We don't know that. We'll have to see.
Did you see the AI image of Times Square for the upcoming?
Yes.
It's pretty cool. Eh? We'll bring it up quickly.
Definitely. It's definitely. It's definitely cool. It's going to be a cool event. It's going to be unbelievable. You want to know the truth, in my opinion.
Rick, they're saying that I've been hearing reports that in Times Square, if you have an event, you're not allowed to charge.
You're not
allowed to charge for attendance in Times Square.
Right.
So how would you gauge such a big fight? What are you going to let in hundreds of thousands of people?
That's what they're going to do.
So you reckon it's going to be a free-for-all? It can't be.
Yeah, they're going to bring boxing back. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's how they're going to bring boxing back in America. Yep.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Massive, massive card. All right, Rick, from me, that's all. Do you have any interesting insight that we've missed tonight?
I hope not. We'll see you Wednesday night, 10 o'clock.
Apparently, we have a very special guest.
Don't announce it. Son of a bitch. Don't announce it. Keep the people coming back for more.
All right, then. All right. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in.
Thank you.
We'll catch you on Wednesday night.